Welcome back to another Bellator fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting some of the key fights for Bellator 222 Macdonald versus Gracie. So again, I'll just be predicting some of the key fights, I think about 6 in total. So in our first fight, we have in the featherweight division, Pico versus Borics. So looking at this fight, you got Pico, who seemed to have an issue with his striking a little bit, or at least his striking defense. He kind of has all that rest and all that talent, but just goes out there and just swings leather and expects to just run through everybody. But when they kind of give him, a pushback, he kind of fades because he doesn't have the best chin, doesn't have the best defense, and leave those pockets open. So that's the issue with Pico. But outside of that, there isn't very many people out there that can really match his talent. I see Borics is another young fighter. So this first time Pico is really fighting a fighter around his age. So he's fighting a very young fighter, talented fighter, Borics. I think he'll be the longer fighter. Maybe a little more versatile, maybe a little bit better, just better mindset for the MMA game at this given moment. But I'm going to lean to Pico's talent. And once he lost twice, I think at this point he's going to change. But I've been saying that he needs to change, but he really hasn't been changing. So there's a very good chance he goes out there and swing leather again and hopes he knocks his opponent out. But I think he's going to make a change. Getting knocked out twice now, he's got to make a change. I think he's going to make that change, mixing his wrestling more, mix up the striking, work on that defense. And instead of relying fully on his athleticism, rely more on his skills. So I think it'll be a competitive fight. I don't think he's going to run through Boris. I think it'll be a very competitive, scrappy fight. But I think Pico was able to utilize his wrestling, utilize his athleticism, utilize his boxing more, fine-tune that defense, and get a gritty decision that's going to really elevate him. So in this fight, I got Pico via decision. Now to our next fight. We have the first fight on our main card, a catchweight bout at 175, Dillon Danis versus Max Humphrey. So just to get to the point of this fight, Dillon Danis is being fed yet another can. I think this is his second pro fight. So just give him another guy that he can submit, a guy with a history of getting submitted and hasn't fought nearly the skill level of Dillon Danis in grappling, or opponent with that level of grappling. So Dillon Danis is going to get another first round submission. So in this fight, I have Dillon Danis via first round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in the bantamweight division, former bantamweight champion Eduardo Dantas, former two-time bantamweight champion in Bellator, Eduardo Dantas, versus Juan Archuleta. So looking at this fight, I think it's kind of like a crossroad fight. Not really exactly a crossroad fight, like Dantas is just so old or so done. But I think he's starting to leave his prime in a way. At lighter weight class, your prime doesn't come quite the same, especially with that type of style. I think his skills have always been there. But I think he's been one of those fighters that's kind of like a young style fighter. His style is not an older style. It's a style for young fighters. Fast, explosive, athletic, kind of sloppy at times, but still clean and clinical, but definitely some openings, some mistakes he makes that he never really fixing. He's just getting older and he's not really fixing those holes on the defensive end, maybe on the grappling end, maybe some fight IQ issues here and there. That's why I think he's been TKO at least twice. I think by a similar path, like I think way back when he left Bellator, he got knocked out by Tyson Nam was it? Then not too long ago, he got knocked out by Macdonald. But some issues he has to fix, but I think he really hasn't been fixing them. I think especially with that training at Noble and Yao, I think his body's wearing down, and their prime comes a lot younger or a lot earlier than other camps. I think he's kind of slowing down. I think with Archuleta, he might not be as talented as Dantas, but his technique is a little bit cleaner. His boxing defense a little sharper. And I think at this point, Archuleta is coming on and getting better. His fight IQ is getting better. Things starting to roll for him a little bit better. I think just the cleaner technique by Archuleta, just the more savvy IQ in there is going to allow him to win the fight. It'll be a close, gritty fight. But I think Archuleta's clean technique is going to allow him to land the cleaner strikes, be better on the defense, and be able to really dictate this fight. And also think he's a well-rounded fighter, so even goes to the grappling, he can hold his own. On the feet, he can hold his own. I think with the sharper defense and the more technical striking, I think he'll be able to beat Dantas. And a very close fight. So in this fight, I have Juan Archuleta via decision. Now on to our next fight we have in the bantamweight division. We have the bantamweight champion in Bellator, Darrion Caldwell, versus the bantamweight champion in Risen, Kyoji Horiguchi. So these two fought, I think, last year on December, or one of these, pretty much they fought on the same card. Mayweather fought Nasukawa. But they were kind of overshadowed by Mayweather in the not an amateur fight, but a exhibition fight. But where this fight was on, this really was the biggest fight on the card, but it was overshadowed by that exhibition. But in that fight, Horiguchi got Caldwell in a guillotine. I believe it was a guillotine, something like that. Caldwell did well to get some wrestling exchanges, but never was able to really secure control. Really not the most exciting fight per se. Like there wasn't really a lot of clean striking happening back and forth or anything, or really clean grappling. With a lot of stuff that both of them were just trying to find a way to victory. So yeah, like Horiguchi was never able to really get anything going on the feet. He did have some moments with some leg kicks, some body kicks, try to get close to a couple head kicks and stuff. He had a couple of decent shots or close attempts, but it was never like neither man was really in control. And the Caldwell was winning on the scorecards basically because he got a couple of takedowns, but his control was never really solid. It never seemed like he had a position where he just had Horiguchi's back and was just landing ground and pound, or was in his guard beating on Horiguchi. It was like never in a real position where he was just truly dominant. It was like he was holding on, but never really exactly holding on. Like he might have against the ropes, but Horiguchi would seem like always defensively, always working. And eventually, I think that was the last round, maybe second or third. I don't know. It was like those risen rounds, but pretty much the last round of that fight coming down to who, if Caldwell can make a decision, get some more control, he would have won. I think Horiguchi caught him with something or came close to catching him with something. Caldwell kind of panicked a little bit and kind of shot long with his takedown. And then Horiguchi was able to work for a guillotine against the ropes, rolled over, pushed off the ropes, and got that guillotine. But yeah, I think this is a common repeating theme with Caldwell, that he doesn't know how to protect his neck that well. I think overall Horiguchi is the much more experienced fighter, given that he fought in the UFC at the flyweight division and fought a lot of big names in the flyweight division. And then coming over here, Caldwell has fought a lot of big names himself, but I think Horiguchi is just a more versed, been in multiple different organizations, been in there with the very best, really, in between these 2 or 3 weight classes at a time in Mighty Mouse. So he's been rubbed around, against really the best. And Caldwell, like I said, his competition has been weak, but definitely we compare competition to competition between who they fought. It doesn't get better than Mighty Mouse. But yeah, I think Horiguchi's the better fighter. I think definitely on the feet, he's a much better striker, much cleaner striker, fast, and just all-around better striker. I think Caldwell's striking definitely needs a lot of fine-tuning. He has a good frame, good size, and good distance, good talent, but striking certainly got to work on that. His grappling and defense needs work on that. But he has plenty of talent. But like I said, I feel like Horiguchi's the better overall fighter. Striker, grappling-wise, like MMA grappling, the wrestling match, he'll always get destroyed. But with MMA grappling and striking and mixing in submissions and stuff, Horiguchi's the much better fighter. I think the cage is going to certainly change a lot of elements to this fight, because obviously against the ropes, you can't use the ropes as like a cage. Like you could put somebody against the cage for leverage and lift them up and make it easy. You could pin somebody against the cage, where in the ropes you really can't pin nobody against the cage. They'll go out the ropes or something like that. Well, I mean, against the ropes you can't do that. So it's going to be a different element, but you still see the same issue with Caldwell not being able to protect that neck. It's not, you could say it was the ropes, it was a cage, he would be able to hold him there, but you keep giving your neck up, keep getting submitted by, he only got submitted twice, but I've seen him have issues with it in several fights, so it's not like he's fixed it too much. And obviously his last fight, he lost to a guillotine. So I think that's a repeating theme with him. I think Horiguchi already beat him, so he has that confidence. Yes, the element's going to change. But I think this is going to allow, Horiguchi's not new to the octagon, whereas Caldwell was new to the ropes. So it's not like he's going to come to some element he's never been in. He's fought in the cage before. I think he only lost, once or twice inside the cage. So it's not nothing new to him. He's fought probably more fights in the cage than he fought in the ring. So I don't think much changes in this fight. I think Caldwell's going to have a little bit more control, but once Horiguchi starts to find his range, starts to land on him and gets him uncomfortable, and that's another thing, when Caldwell starts to get uncomfortable, whether it be on the feet, he tries to go to wrestling, gives him that neck, and then you always see that he's uncomfortable. Even against the rematch against Baby Ty Mingalo, he saw, like, as soon as he got guillotine went around his neck, he started panicking. He won the fight, but you can see him start to lose that bravado when he started to get in that position or get threatened by guillotine, like showing that he still really hasn't adjusted to it that well. So I think Horiguchi's able to hurt him on the feet. I mean, not hurt him on the feet, but get him frustrated on the feet after maybe a good first and second round from Caldwell. I think Horiguchi starts to find his range, his timing again, gets Caldwell off his game, makes him shoot a sloppy shot. I think Horiguchi's able to set up that choke and tap him out again. I think it's in the third round. So in this fight, I got Kyoji Horiguchi via third round submission. Now on to our co-main event we have in the light heavyweight division, Lyoto Machida versus Chael Sonnen. So we got two solid veterans here, two certified veterans here. Former UFC light heavyweight champion Lyoto Machida, multiple time title challenger Lyoto Machida. Chael Sonnen, multiple time title challenger, never won a big one, but he has the biggest mouth in all of MMA. So you got solid wrestler, solid pressure in Chael Sonnen versus Lyoto Machida, the elusive striker, karate style, with some underrated jiu-jitsu, or maybe underrated and overrated at the same time. But what I see with the important factor in this fight is Machida's mobility, his ability to defend takedowns, and his track record of being a kryptonite for wrestlers. I think Chael Sonnen certainly has solid wrestling, solid pace that can cause Machida issues. But Machida has very good hips. He has very good kicks. He's good at controlling range. That's going to be an issue for Chael Sonnen. It's not like he's going to be able to just walk down Machida, because he'll have to give Machida respect. He's going to have to land something, then get up on the takedown. He's not going to be able to just walk him down and try to just throw it straight and go for a blast double on him. You're going to have to really cut him off. And I think that's going to have issues with Chael Sonnen, especially with his stance, kind of have his hands up but his chin out there, kind of wide, like an open down the middle defense, especially against a guy like Lyoto Machida who throws so many front kicks. I think he's going to be caught by a lot of those front kicks and get caught by a lot of straight down the middle. I don't think Chael Sonnen's defense is all that best. Most of his defense is just ducking down, so he could get caught with that trademark blitz and a knee to the body from Lyoto Machida, could get caught with a front kick, get caught with pretty much all Machida strikes are Chael Sonnen is open for. I think Machida's going to be able to frame him, move around, make it hard, himself a hard target, and just pick apart Chael Sonnen. But Chael Sonnen, he's not going to make it an easy night for anyone. He's probably going to go for them takedowns, might even secure one. But I think overall, Machida's going to be defending more takedowns than he get taken down. Maybe give up 1 or 2 takedowns in this fight, maybe 1 or 2. I give him 1. But I think more so, Machida is moving around, picking his shots, picking his range, and making himself a hard target for Chael Sonnen. Then eventually, I think he just catches him down the middle, whether it be like a blitz or a front kick or maybe a knee. Then follows up with some ground and pound and gets Chael Sonnen out of there. And I think it happens in the second round. So in this fight, I have Lyoto Machida via second round TKO. Now to our main event we have in the welterweight division. Current welterweight champion Rory Macdonald versus Neiman Gracie. So Neiman Gracie pretty much won the Black Horse fight in this tournament by beating Ed Roof, the 3-time NCAA standout. 3-time NCAA champion and standout with 4-time All-American, with a beast in Ed Roof. Certainly a huge talent. Neiman Gracie, a huge talent in his own right. Several-time world champion, one of the lineage of the Gracies. And in that fight, he showed a lot. He showed that, because going to fight me and a lot of other people just thought that Ed Roof had the better striking. He had the wrestling. He'll dictate where the fight will go, and he has the better striking. But Neiman Gracie actually showed to have the better footwork, the better striking. And he never really even had to show it in most fights because he could just take people down and submit them so easily. And then in that fight, he showed that he could take down a 3-time NCAA champion multiple times. He was the better striker in that fight. And pretty much that's really one of even more than the grappling was the striking of Neiman Gracie that was the biggest factor to his victory over Ed Roof, because Ed Roof was having issues with his striking, so he had to come in more to pretty much almost chase down Neiman Gracie to really land any good shots, where Neiman Gracie was picking him apart from distance and making Ed Roof kind of walk over his strikes, which allowed him to take it down easier. So it was really the striking of Neiman Gracie that was the most impressive. And also, just his ability, his fight IQ and all that stuff was very sharp. So he's a very good underdog. Good black horse in this fight. In this whole tournament. But I'm still going to lean to Rory Macdonald. I think, yes, his striking looked better than another newbie like, say, Ed Roof, who's only been fighting for like 3 years. And really never had to really use his striking, really rely on his striking too much. So Rory Macdonald's been in the game for a long time. One of the better strikers, period, in sports history, especially this weight class. And even his fight against John Fitch, his striking still looked pretty sharp, even though he was talking about Bible this, Bible that. He didn't have the killer thing. He was dropping John Fitch several times. I think Rory Macdonald was striking this on a whole different level than, Neiman Gracie has fought in what Neiman Gracie is at currently. And I think his grappling defense is much better. And you can see Neiman Gracie was fighting a fighter in Ed Roof who barely just got into MMA. And he was able to defend several of his submissions. So Rory Macdonald been in there with guys like Damian Maia and et cetera, et cetera. I think he might have been in there with Jake Shield. Now, did he fight Jake Shield? Well, he's been in there with some very good grapplers, been there very experienced fighters. Even you could say John Fitch. So it's going to be kind of similar thing. He's going to go get a guy like Neiman Gracie. And I think, like I said, I think Rory Macdonald's a little bit too well-rounded for him. Going to be able to hold his own in the grappling. Definitely don't want to go there. But on the feet, I think Rory Macdonald just on a different level at this point. It's not going to be like he's fighting a wrestler who's trying to strike. He's fighting a full, well-rounded killer who was raised up in MMA. I don't think Neiman Gracie is as tough as John Fitch. So when he's getting caught by these same shots, it might be all she wrote. I think Rory Macdonald's confidence might not be where it needs to be, but his skill set just speaks for itself. His accolades speak for himself. I think he's able to keep the fight on the feet for the most part. If it goes to the ground, he's able to spring back up, to play well on defense, because he played well against Damian Maia on the ground and was very defensively sound. So if he needs to give up a round just being defensively sound on the ground, then he's going to be able to do that. Then on the feet, I think he's able to find his shots, pick apart Neiman Gracie, not walk over his shots, because like he's a veteran. He's not some newbie. He's a veteran. He never really walked over his shots. So those shots aren't going to come as easy. Be able to stay behind the jab and just walk Neiman Gracie down, cut him off, chew him up, and eventually spit him out in the third round. So in this fight, I got Rory Macdonald via third round TKO. And that concludes my fight predictions for the key fights of Bellator 222, Macdonald versus Gracie. Thanks for watching, and that's all. Peace.